Welcome everyone tuning in and joining us for College of the North Atlantic's Prince Philip Drive Open House. Absolutely everyone is welcome to come down and check out the booths that are now being set up by programs here offered on campus. Some of those programs being journalism, paramedicine, textiles and apparel design, and skilled trades. Over the next 8 hours, we will be meeting the people behind these programs. But first, I'd like to throw the spotlight over to my colleague, Alan Bradbury, to chat with some people at the booths.
Right now we are with Art and Design, and this is Emily Pittman with the Art and Design program. So just tell us a little bit about the Art and Design program here at CD.
Okay, so it's a brand new program, 2 years long, started and we have courses in drawing, theory, design, photography, and those kind of things.
Just do you mind showing us around the table just a little bit? Just tell us about some of the stuff that's here.
Examples of some of the student work that was made this semester. So some paintings made for our color theory class, some designs that students have done on their own time as well, and lots of explorations of creativity, and also these lovely inspiring quotes made by the graphic design department for us.
And so, what sort of reaction have you had from some of the high school students that are coming in today?
It's been really positive. There's a lot of interest in this area. I think it's really important, and there's a lot of people who have a talent that they're trying to develop and build, and there's a lot of excitement around it. Absolutely.
And so, what sort of careers can students go into after completing the program?
Well, they can become professional artists, of course, and they can become, they can work for galleries, museums, they can go off to do other programs, including design, video gaming, digital arts, animation, any of those kind of things, as well as working in media, perhaps. Creative, every field can really benefit from a creative lens.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Okay.
That was perfect. Thank you. So I don't know. I guess we'll go and do another one in a minute. I just want to go check this in.
Excuse my bias.
Hello there, I'm Jonathan Crow. I'm a broadcast journalism instructor here at the College of the North Atlantic in St. John's. If you're a good writer, if you're curious about the world around you, then we might have something for you. Let me show you around. If video storytelling is your thing, we've got you covered. We've got the latest, most up-to-date equipment in the business, and we also work with industry experts to get you the on-the-job training that you need.
Our partners in industry are very helpful to us in terms of giving work terms to our students, and they're always helpful in terms of giving feedback. Every 5 years we have a major industry review or major program review, and industry takes part in that.
Last spring, each of us got a chance to get out and work in our chosen field. Me and my classmate Victoria were lucky enough to spend our time at the Telegram.
My name is Victoria Plowman. I am 20 years old and I'm from Gander, Newfoundland. I've worked with CBC in Gander, and now I'm here at the Telegram, obviously. So you get a lot of really good experience from the program, and a lot of work opportunities, obviously.
One thing that I learned from school that really came in handy here was trying to convince someone who wants to stay anonymous in a story to go on the record. I know Frank taught us a lot about that.
Definitely. I know that's definitely happened here a few times for me too. Obviously there's lots of opportunities for us as journalism students. Like, we're not the only ones to get work terms here in the city, and obviously I was with CBC and Gander too before here, so it's really great.
Jessie Dobbins spent her work term with Rogers Television here in St. John's. She gives us a sneak peek into a documentary that she worked on, which will air later this year.
Well, stood in this spot in the early 1800s, you would have been smack in the middle of an area known as Tanrahanstown.
It feels like I've been here a lot longer than just 4 weeks. Like, I honestly feel like I know almost everyone here, like, that I work with, basically. And I feel like I've learned a lot more skills and built upon skills that I already had. Like, I feel like I know, like, I'm more comfortable with editing video than I was, and with the Dale Jarvis interview, I was in front of the camera, and when I went out to do the interview, I didn't think I was trying to work around not being in the shot. And basically Linda said that the idea was for me to be in the shot. So I was really uncomfortable and scared about being in front of the camera. But looking over what I did and everything, and actually during the interview, it's kind of, I just ignored the cameras after a while. And the longer the interview went on, the more comfortable I got. I felt really prepared going in here. The only reason that I was nervous on the first day, because I didn't want to get lost on my way in. I didn't want to do anything to embarrass myself on the first day. And I'm kind of disappointed that this is my last day, because I did enjoy going places, and like when we did the community bios, I enjoyed driving around and going to different places like Paradise and Portugal Cove and Bell Island, and I even learned things from doing the voiceover that I didn't even know was part of the history. So I kind of feel like I learned things that didn't have to do with the technical part of journalism or the skills that I was trying to build. I just learned every day.
I joined the team here at the college after 32 years working at the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation as a producer, a reporter, and an on-air host in television news. Let me tell you about my colleagues. That's Jeff Ducharme. He started out in the journalism business as a press photographer in Ottawa, covering The Hill. But he's also branched out into one of the most interesting fields of journalism. The College of the North Atlantic is only one of 4 schools in North America that offers a program in drone journalism.
Back in 2012, I started seeing things, particularly in the U.S., at a college in Lincoln, Nebraska, where they were doing drone journalism. They actually had a lab built where they're actually building drones for journalism. I started doing research in it, and I realized that it was going to be a game changer. It was going to completely change the face of journalism. And it was going to level the playing field. And I thought, because we're small markets out here and that sort of thing, it'd be a great addition to the program if we started looking at drones and how they can change stories. They can take a story from okay and make it epic just through a few images. Mainly, they're used as a platform for a camera, and that's all a drone is it's a platform. It's nothing more than a platform. So, for instance, you look at a washout, a road washout. And you look from the ground level and you say, well, that doesn't look too bad. But when you fly 50 feet or 100 feet above that washout, you show the expanse of that washout. Now all of a sudden the story becomes that much more epic, to people, and they go, wow, okay, it's that bad. Illegal dumping. You walk through the woods and you find a sink that somebody's dumped in the woods. It doesn't look that bad. But when you fly over the trees and you can actually look down in that area and you can see that, say, a whole shore of a lake is covered in debris, then it really changes the story, and it just takes it to another level and gives the viewer a better understanding about it. You can do that with a helicopter, but a helicopter costs $1,000 an hour. A drone, you can buy a drone for $1,000. So it just levels the playing field for all the media out there. Beyond that, you can do environmental testing with them. You can put sensors on them. You can send them out in the lakes to do water samples. You can do air samples with them. You can use LiDAR to look into things. We were the first post-secondary institution in Canada to start drone journalism. We were I believe the 3rd in North America. We're well positioned for it. We're way ahead of everybody else because we've been working on this since since late 2012. So we're just slowly building up our technology, buying the equipment, and incorporating it into the program. So this is something I'm seeing schools, particularly in the U.S., but in Canada too, adding this to their journalism programs. Every year I'll see 3 or 4 more post-secondary institutions add it to their journalism program. Well, we're years ahead of them.
And that's Frank Carroll. His specialty is digital journalism.
Well, I've been teaching journalism here at the College of North Atlantic for 18 years. Before that, I was a print reporter for 10 years at Robinson Blackmore, the old Robinson Blackmore chain throughout Newfoundland and Labrador. I also worked at the Western Star in Corner Brook and the Times and Transcript in Moncton. The web has revolutionized everything. The first thing it did was to undermine the old commercial models campus, Prince Philip Drive. Well, we placed a lot of emphasis on digital media. We train the students how to use social media for journalistic purposes. They're already familiar with it for social purposes, for fun, for keeping in touch. But there's a very deliberate, systematic way of using these for journalistic purposes, and we place a lot of emphasis on that.
Tyler, this is your story, and so who did you speak with for the story?
I spoke with Dwight Lethbridge, the mayor of Cartwright, and I spoke with Sheila O'Leary, deputy mayor of St. John's, and I had some interesting conversations with them. And,
we'll teach you the skills you need across all three platforms, including radio, television, and the internet. It's never been a better time to be a journalist. If you like telling stories, if you want to make change in your society, then journalism could just be the profession for you. And we're the people to teach you that. We're College of the North Atlantic.
You can check us out at www.kicker.cna-nl.com, and we'll be here in the K109 studios at the same time next week. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Now that you've gotten a look at the journalism program, I'd like to change the subject over to the textiles and apparel design program. I have Susan Furneaux here with me. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Susan is a textiles instructor at College of the North Atlantic. She also owns Black Hen Studio with her partner and metalsmith, Michael Harlick. So, would you tell me a little bit about the program?
So the program is a 2-year diploma program that uses textiles as a form of expression. So it's an art-based program. We do a little bit of everything, textile-oriented, and also craft history, art history, design, drawing, color theory, everything you kind of need to get yourself going as a textile or fiber artist.
What is your favorite thing about teaching the program?
For me, it's definitely the hands-on component. And seeing that joy when people really realize that they can do it, they can create.
So what do you think the students seem to enjoy the most?
They really like the fact that they are creating their own designs and that they're doing it with their own hands, and they're taking it right from the beginning fiber to from beginning fiber right to a final product like a coat or a jacket, and they've colored that fiber, they've cut the cloth, made the cloth. It's really exciting.
Yeah. Does all sound very fascinating. So what can a student with a diploma from this program do afterwards?
Oh, it's a big range. We have students who have gone on to be buyers in major like Holt Renfrew, buyers for Holt Renfrew. We've had students who go on and become designers themselves, fashion designers, craft producers, work in gallery curatorial components of their job, all kinds of things. Like it's vast.
Yeah. Would you be able to name drop any alumni?
Well, Bruno Vinhas is at the Craft Council Gallery right now. He's the gallery director there. We also have Claire Fowler, who's doing some beautiful seal work. Chantel Anderson, she's up in Labrador and she's doing some work. She's designed coats for Canada Goose. So we've got, and Dwayne Mercer, he's a buyer for Holt Renfrew now he's moved to Nordstrom's. So
those are all big names to name drop for sure. So how do you use your personal experience in the industry to teach students?
Oh, I've got a long time in the industry, so I do pass on all the tips and techniques to make things, the creations go a little faster, a little smoother, technical hands-on stuff, but also, experience that I've had in selling work across Canada and down into the States, and, just everything everything I can pass on, I will.
Awesome. So finally, I'll ask you, who would you recommend this program to?
Oh, it's great. I recommend this program to anybody who is interested in having a career in the art and craft industry in Newfoundland and beyond, Newfoundland and Labrador. Also, it'd be great for anybody who's considering a career in the arts and wants to get that foundation in before going off to, an institution further afield. We do have agreements in place, and we have lots of students who do the 2 years here and go off and finish up degrees in other places, and credits are transferable, and it's and it gives you a little bit of nurturing before you go off and go off into the big world.
So do you have any tips or tricks for anybody that's going to be going into this program?
Be prepared to do, a lot of homework, and it's in a very immersive program. You get a lot of information really fast, and you really enjoy it. People will really enjoy the program if they come.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Susan.
Thank you.
So, the textiles program has harbored amazingly talented people. As Susan mentioned, Bruno, he won a National Art Award in 2016 at the Colleges and Institutes Canada. So let's take a look at what happens behind those doors at Anna Templeton Centre.
Typical day. There's a lot going on, especially in the first year of the program. Through fiber exploration, we're working with all different kinds of fibers and learning about them. So we could be up in the dye studio working with wool and like carding wool and then felting it, dyeing it. We could be rug hooking. We also get a glimpse into weaving, which is tapestry, so handheld weaving. We create clothing, so we get introduced to different concepts in apparel design, and also like just different sewing techniques. And then there's drawing and design class. I'm definitely forgetting stuff. It's a super well-rounded program, and I found the first year especially, you just get your hands wet and dirty and kind of get into a lot of different areas of craft.
First year you kind of do a little bit of everything, kind of get a taste for what it's all about and what you like. And you might come in not knowing anything about some areas or anything about any of the areas, and then you just kind of get thrown into it and learn a lot. And then in second year you kind of find what you love and you focus in on that. It was really hard making a choice because you kind of fall in love with all of it. I think my favorite part of it was just the opportunity to become kind of a creative person and just kind of release that creative energy in a very welcoming environment where you can share it. Like everyone's going through the same experience, and the teachers are very encouraging of you releasing that creativity and like your own kind of perspective on textiles.
All right, well, that was the textiles program. Now I'm going to send it over to my trusty sidekick, Alan Bradbury.
St. John's. I was a graduate of the journalism program 2 years ago, or last year, in the College of the North Atlantic here at Prince Philip Drive. Part of it was just that I'm super nosy, and I like to be in on the news, telling stories, finding out what people have to say. That was a big thing for me. Another big one was getting into, I love watching sports, keeping track of it. So it was part of a way for me to get out and tell stories and learn about this business that I've wanted to be in for a while. Many Newfoundlanders feel a connection to rural areas like here in Bay Bulls. It's almost like the land has a pull, bringing us back. The program offered me a lot. It gave me a chance to really dip my feet into a bunch of different platforms in journalism, whether it be through print, through radio, through video. I took liking to more radio and video than maybe others, but as time sort of went on, I've sort of learned to be in all three platforms, and that's thanks to what I learned here at the program. I did my internship at Rogers Television, and that was really important in me sort of learning where I wanted to be and maybe that I was in the right place. I worked a lot in TV there, so that was a really great experience for me to sort of get onto the video side and working in digital and things like that. So my time in the internship was really important to me sort of developing as a journalist and an audio person. I was in the radio side. I was working with On The Go, which is the current affairs 4 to 6 drive home show. A lot of what I was doing there fills the role of what's called an AP, an associate producer. So I would be writing scripts, I would be editing audio here and there, just sort of pitching ideas to the host to say, hey, this is something that's come up, maybe we can talk about it on our show. Other times they would send me out in the field and say, hey, we have this idea, so why don't you go out and gather what needs to be gathered and you can come back and work on it. So that was the radio side. The digital side is mainly writing stories for the website. So a lot of the times the term that we use in the office is called being an indoor cat, where you're sort of sitting around the newsroom and, hey, this story's handed to you. Do you want to do a little write-up on that? Other times you get out of the newsroom and you can go and shoot and record your sound and pitch your own ideas and things like that. So that was really rewarding work for me to do. I think one of the coolest moments for me was just seeing my byline for the first time. I mean, this is just something that I really wanted to do for a while, and seeing Alex Kennedy, CBC News, or they spoke with the CBC's Alex Kennedy, that was a really, really cool experience for me. It was a crazy 2 years. There was a lot of times where the stress does kind of come in of doing this job, but the support system in the program with your teachers and your classmates and everything like that was really great for me. If I could stress anything, it's that this isn't a 9 to 5, 5 days a week thing. There's times where you're working on stories into the weekend or late into the night or things like that, but it is a really rewarding experience if it's your thing. So that's something that I would definitely stress to people who want to enter the program. Hopefully sticking around at the CBC for a little bit. I'm working on a couple of projects here and there, and they seem really keen to have me in. So that's always good. But yeah, just sort of staying where I am, staying put, trying to develop my skills as a writer and as a journalist and a broadcaster. Yeah, and I personally can't wait to see what comes next.
The music performance business.
I want to buy some shirts. She said,
Oh,
what?
wow.
And then she came up with an armful of shirts and went, no.
It's like, why'd you bring me? So funny. So I have Wade Pinhorn with me. Wade is an EMCA and a Judo award-winning artist. He's been the coordinating instructor for 22 years at CNA's Music Performance, Business, and Technology program. Thank you so much for joining us, Wade.
No problem.
Give you a good handshake there, introduce you. So can you tell me a little bit about the program, please?
22 years, 6-semester program. I think it's 33 courses, 127 credits. The program's about a third music, a third business, and a third technology. And we work very closely with the sound recording and production program, of course.
So what's your favorite thing about teaching this program?
Watching the students succeed. Watching you do what you're doing right now. That's what really gives all of us instructors here as a challenge.
to enjoy the most about the program?
Playing music, of course. That's the struggle, is, you know, to encourage them to play lots of music and write lots of music, but at the same time pursue the business side and the other kind of drier courses that are really important for them to succeed, right?
Absolutely. So what are some of the opportunities that the students get through this program?
Oh, all kinds. Like last night we did a concert at the LSPU Hall here in town. One of the reasons the program moved from the West Coast in Stephenville to here was to connect directly with the art scene in St. John's. It is the hub. And so there's all kinds of opportunities. I actually talk to my students a lot about their personal definition of success and what they would like to succeed in the industry, because there are so many paths, not just performing music live on stage. In fact, songwriters are the ones that make all the money. If you can get the right artist to record and produce your song, right?
So in the program, do students specialize in any instrument?
Locally, we've got girls like the Secrets. Between the three of them, they have 5 of these diplomas, because 2 of them did the sound and the music program, and they've like opened up for Tim McGraw and things like that. So, like any entrepreneurial endeavor, we have no way of predicting how well they're going to do. I have no way of predicting how well you're going to do as a journalist. I think you're going to do well, but it all depends on the effort they put into it and what opportunities they pursue. We give them the information and the skills to take that on, and if they go after it, then they can succeed, because they are entrepreneurs.
So how do you use your 40 years in the industry to help teach these students?
Honestly, I say, I'm playing at the Ship Inn on Saturday night, come see me play. Because the thing about the 3 core faculty here, me and Scott Hammond and Michelle Robertson, is I work as a full-time performing musician all the time. Scott works as an audio engineer with his own mixing studio, the Blue Room, and he's mixing records for the who's who of the music industry, and Michelle is an artist manager besides teaching here. So we have all 3 of those areas, sort of the tech area, the music area, and the business area, covered by 3 faculty members who do it every day. Not much unlike, you know, Jonathan and people like that who did this in their career, and now you're lucky enough to have them share all their secrets with you, right?
So who would you recommend this program to?
Anybody who wants a career in the music industry. And you know what? It's also a success story for us when a student comes into a program at the college and finds it's not the program they really want to be in, and we help them find the one they do. To me, that's just as successful as graduating from the music program. If I have one of our top students right now came and tried to do a year of another program and left that program and came back, left very unhappy, came back super happy, just succeeding in this program. So, you know, as long as you guys are pursuing what it is that you want to pursue for a career, we're happy as a college for sure.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great little motivation there. So the music program is no doubt the program that everybody in their part of the school is jealous of. There's always voices singing, guitars blaring, and drums banging. So if that sounds like a great time to you, let's check out the Music Performance and Business Technology program.
The Music Performance, Business and Technology program is really all about teaching those who are interested in contemporary music how to manage themselves, how to perform on stage. We teach everything from music business to musical culture, performance, traditional instruments. There's I think 32 courses altogether. Yeah. Everyone is here because they love being on stage, they love music, and so they love that opportunity to express themselves through their instrument and with others. We have lots of very successful people who pass through our program. Most recently, I would say Kelly Loader comes to mind. She graduated in 2017 from the Music Performance, Business and Technology program. Past graduates include Carla Pilgrim, The Secrets, also perform at the Rocket Room, just above Rocket Bakery. We perform regularly up at our own location at College of the North Atlantic on Prince Philip Drive. And also the students are on rotation to perform in 3 Rooms Bistro and Cafe up at Prince Philip Drive.
Normal day consists of 8 a.m. classes, getting up, showing up, and punching in hours as a musician, practicing your craft, all that fun stuff. My favorite thing about the program would probably be the friends I've made, other musician friends I've made with the program. Getting to jam with your buddies and explore music as an art form, and also think about career opportunities.
All right, well, Kickers Jasmine Burt. I sat down with Susan Furneaux from the Textiles and Apparel Design Program and Wade Pinhorn from the Music, Performance, and Business Technology Program. Next up, I'm going to throw it over to Alan Bradbury after we get a glimpse into the journalism program, into the nitty-gritties of drone technology.
First thing is with a drone, and the thing that needs to be remembered is the drone is just a platform. It doesn't do anything on its own. It doesn't go out and look for stories or anything like that. It's just a platform. It's a platform that carries a camera. So what it does is it levels the playing field for smaller media operations that can't afford to rent a helicopter to do aerial shots. And the best people to talk to are the people within industry who will tell you, you know, is this something you'd like to see? Is this a skill that you'd like to see our students have? So now people are looking at the technology and determining, you know, where the technology is, where the regulations are, and they're slowly starting to adopt it now. And I think that's a good thing, because I think a few years ago we were rushing, and we're not rushing anymore. We're taking our time, and we're looking at how we can adopt this.
The way I do my journalism is my photojournalism is I like to try to get different angles of stuff that people aren't usually used to seeing. So you know, even without the drone, you know, I'll you know, climb a building or go up in a parking lot or lie down on the ground, or you know, anything you know, to get something that you know, we want to put interesting photos in the paper and up on our website. So most of the work that I do is basic, you know, like feature stuff. I'll try to pick a nice area that I think people would be interested in seeing, and you know, I'll you know, like I said, you know, check the maps, do an assessment, and take my observer with me, because I have to have an observer on most of the flights that I do, and do our flight. One of my favorite ones was doing a aerial view of the SS Kyle out in Harbour Grace. That was probably one of our most viewed aerial videos, because I mean, everyone has seen it from the shore. They might have gotten close to it, you know, by boat. But you know, what I wanted to do was to give, you know, everyone like a, you know, a bird's eye view, you know, or a drone eye view of the wreck as it was sitting.
Work-wise, it's made the program a lot better. The biggest reason that we ended up getting a drone was a lot of industry demand. So a lot of our students go
without disturbing the animals. And in narrative filmmaking, all kinds of shots have been developed. A drone can actually go 360 degrees around two actors having conversation in full dialogue. And all kinds, every day there's been new shots invented. You know, it's just as important an invention and useful tool as when the Steadicam was invented, and other camera support gear, the slider, and it's just new camera support, and it's literally changed the language of cinema in a way.
We were first approached by my graphic design instructor, Ray. He came to me and a few other guys with a project to score this, to scan core in Labrador. And pretty much what we're going to be using the drone technology for is to go from macro photography to aerial photography and just haul back. Just looking at the core sample itself isn't enough. You need to see it in perspective. So you can tell that the minerals are here in the core, but then if you zoom out and look at that on a drone, then that would make more sense compared to just the actual core sample itself. Then you can apply it to the samples that the core took out. So say if you found like parts per million gold in this core sample, and you have all your holes plotted out, and you can go over with drone, and you can map that and make more sense of how big your deposit is, how deep it is, and see it as more of like a map style, but look at it the way you would want to look at it rather than just topographic.
With the use of drones, we could, get a full view of that camp and sort of then have geo-reference to, where the core came from and then where potentially you could further explore.
I think it's going to expand a lot just because, like in my role in geomatics, or in that sector, is becoming hugely popular, but drones in general are being used for everything, from search and rescue, from resource management, from anything to do with safety or data collection that needs to be done efficiently and quickly. It's just drones are everywhere. So it's going to start becoming commonplace because people who come out in industry in these sectors, they're just going to be expected to know how to fly a drone and use a drone and process the data. So eventually it's going to come a point where if the course or program you're doing has anything to do with drone work, you're going to have to teach your students how to fly it and use them. So I think in the next few years it's going to have to be start integrating more into a lot of different coursework and classes and disciplines.
Thank you everyone for tuning in and joining us at the College of the North Atlantic's Prince Philip Drive House. My name is Jasmine Burt, and I will be signing off for just a little bit, but don't stray too far because we'll be right back with some more live interviews from my colleague Alan Bradbury.